Star Wars Outlaws is the first open-world Star Wars game, and it's finally here. Some of us have been waiting a really long time for this, as it seems like most of the previous Star Wars titles were more on the PvP side, and while Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor provided something different, the maps in Fallen Order have a defined level design, while Survivor is partially open world, but not the entire game. Regardless, we finally have an open world Star Wars game, so let's get into it. Star Wars Outlaws takes place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in the Star Wars timeline. The Empire not only has control of most of the known galaxy, but also at this point in the timeline, the Empire also has the Rebel Alliance on the run after the rebellion suffered a crushing defeat on the planet Hoth. Meanwhile, the galaxy's crime syndicates are flourishing, with the forces of the Empire and the Rebellion engaging in large battles on various planets and in space throughout the galaxy. The various criminal syndicates are prospering by taking advantage of endless opportunities within the context of an emerging civil war. In fact, the criminal syndicates have never been stronger, as the galaxy once again finds itself amidst the strife and chaos of the galactic conflict. The criminal syndicates will have high-stakes missions available for the player to complete, such as infiltrating clandestine facilities and stealing valuable items and goods, which will contribute to your growing reputation in the galaxy. As an action-adventure, open-world game, Star Wars Outlaws features third-person gameplay, including blasters and hand-to-hand combat, dogfights in space, exploration, side quests, stealth, and reconnaissance. There are cities, cantinas, and various different planets and landscapes to explore. In addition, Star Wars Outlaws gameplay currently does not include a compass or minimap, but instead has a radius or compass bar at the top of the screen. Hopefully the option to use a compass or minimap, or not, will be made available in the future, in order to meet the different playing styles of different players. The protagonist of Star Wars Outlaws is Vess, a scoundrel or outlaw who finds herself on the Empire's most wanted list. Vess and her companion, or pet, Nyx, are keen to begin a new life, exploring various planets, while also attempting to successfully complete the most ambitious and largest heist in the Outer Rim, an outer region of the galaxy that is barely under the Empire's control. If Kay wants to survive, she has to stay several steps ahead of both the Empire and the criminal syndicates. Nyx is very useful and helpful in sneaking and stealth situations. The small Merkel is actually a predator, which both distracts and attacks enemies, can access control boards and tight spaces, retrieve items, and is very beneficial for stealth and reconnaissance. Kay's second companion is KD-5, a battle-scarred and beat-up BX commando droid of the Separatist Alliance, or the Confederacy of Independent Systems, from the Clone Wars. The BX commando droids were the elite forces of the Separatist Alliance, and KD-5 provides a tremendous amount of muscle and elite combat skills to assist Kay. There is a heavy emphasis on stealth in Outlaws, as combat is sometimes best to be avoided and blasting your way out of certain situations will not always be productive or effective. This certainly reminds me of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Regardless, the combat in Outlaws is unlike most Star Wars games. Kay has outstanding aim and has quite the shot, and her blaster can be upgraded with various different parts to switch between different blast types, which each have their benefits for particular situations. For example, some blast types or parts might be more effective to use against stormtroopers, while another might be more effective against droids. Or perhaps you need to knock someone out. The combat in Star Wars Outlaws also permits the player to pick up and use blasters and weapons from defeated enemies, providing the player with a limited or short-lived benefit to Kay's assault blaster and her sniper blaster. Kay also has an ability called Adrenaline. While in combat, Adrenaline will charge, and when used, time is slowed down and you can tag several enemies. Then you can eliminate them all in a single rapid-fire sequence. The wanted and reputation systems in Star Wars Outlaws sound pretty interesting. The wanted system is based on Kay's interactions with the Empire, and it would appear that your wanted status rises due to your hostility towards the Empire. Meanwhile, the reputation system is based on Kay's interactions with the various criminal syndicates. A positive reputation with a criminal syndicate can result in discounts, better jobs, and access to new and different areas and locations. However, if you curry favor with one syndicate, this will more than likely have a detrimental impact on your reputation with another syndicate. The Trailblazer is the name of Kay's ship or vessel, in which the player will engage in dogfights in space, both large and small. Kay also has a speeder, which will greatly assist the player in covering extensive distances and large areas relatively quickly on the various planets in the game. Exploration throughout the various planets will of course feature side quests and additional content. While there will be NPCs and other in-game characters who will provide you with side quest opportunities, these quests don't always make themselves readily available. Players will have to listen to the conversations of NPCs in various different settings, situations, and environments in order to learn of opportunities to profit quickly and easily. Players should also keep an eye out for transmissions, messages, and electronic communications in order to further learn of more side quests and quick profits and benefits. There are 5 major criminal syndicates featured in Star Wars Outlaws: Zarek Besh, who are led by Slyro Barsha and based on Cantonica; the Pike Syndicate, who in the game are represented by an underboss, Gork Palas, and the Pikes are based on Obadiah; the Hutt Cartel, who are led by the Supreme Hutt Council, with more recently Jabba the Hutt serving as a main figurehead, and are based on Tatooine; Crimson Dawn, who are led by Lady Kira and based on Savareen; and the Ashiga clan, who are led by Queen Ashiga and are based on the planet Kijimi. Zarek Besh came out of nowhere and really flourished during this time period in Star Wars, as they took the underworld by storm. Zarek Besh was very well financed, had access to premier equipment and weaponry, while its foot soldiers were very well trained and highly regarded in combat. The Hutt Cartel was an ancient and powerful criminal syndicate which enriched themselves through various illegal businesses and operations throughout the Outer Rim. Crimson Dawn were a tight and highly organized criminal organization that was extremely secretive and cunning, which valued intelligence and blackmail over everything else. They also held a particular grudge against the Empire, and in particular, Sith Lords Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. Crimson Dawn were initially led by former Sith Lord Maul, but following Maul's death on Tatooine, Lady Qi'ra assumed leadership over the criminal syndicate. The Pike Syndicate were the leading spice smugglers and illicit drug dealers throughout the known galaxy. Led by underboss Gorak Palas and Outlaws, the Pikes valued power and esteem over everything else. Finally, the Ashiga clan are comprised of the Melito, who have no eyes and mouths and are dedicated to their queen and hive, which sounds quite similar to the Geonosians. The Ashiga clan are led by Queen Ashiga, who distrust outsiders and have grown very wealthy through the arms trade. The planets featured in Star Wars Outlaws include the following: Akiva, Tashara, Kijimi, and Tatooine. While Zarek Besh's base of operations on the planet Cantonica has been included in Ubisoft's promotional content, it might not be fully explorable and have a smaller role in the game, or perhaps fully unveiled in a future DLC. Akiva is a jungle planet based within the Outer Rim, which is on the outer reaches of the galaxy, where the Empire does not have complete control. While Akiva is home to a thriving black market, there is also a growing rebellion. Tashara is a windy and dangerous savanna planet comprised of grasslands and woodlands. Despite the terrain and surroundings which might be picturesque, Tashara is in fact a hotbed for crime and corruption. Kijimi is a cold and frozen planet, very similar to Hoth, which was featured in The Empire Strikes Back. The Ashiga clan have ruled on Kijimi for generations. Tatooine is the iconic and very hot desert planet, featured in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. It's also the home planet of Anakin and Luke Skywalker. Tatooine, of course, is also home to Jabba the Hutt, who lives in his aptly titled Jabba's Palace, while many Hutt clan operations are based there. The planet is circled by two suns and also has a growing Imperial presence during this period in the Star Wars timeline. And there you have it. Those are the proverbial basic building blocks, the basic foundation, or basic fundamentals of Star Wars Outlaws. Everything you need to know before diving in. I will be covering Star Wars Outlaws with various videos, including lore and tutorials, as well as live streams, which will be coming soon.